So welcome guys in next tutorial part of this video on apoptosis, and we have already discussed about the definitions of apoptosis, and we know that apoptosis can be defined as a natural biological process of a programmed cell death in which cells destroy themselves for maintaining the smooth functioning of the body. So basically cell death can take place by two processes. One is by apoptosis and one by a necrosis. Already we have discussed about a necrosis, which is a uncontrolled death of a cells, and now today we'll discuss about a different pathway for a apoptosis, which is a programmed death of a cells. Okay, we know that this apoptosis is a biological process which occurs in all organisms including plant and animals, and this apoptosis removes the cells from the organism that should no longer be part of a organism. So this apoptosis play a major role in the development of humans and in developing and maintaining the healthy human system. And on an average we find that about 50 to 80 billion cells die every day in a human adult due to apoptosis. And during this biological process or apoptosis, the infected cell, precancerous cells and other cells are eliminated successfully and maintain the balance of a cell in the human body. Therefore, this apoptosis are essential process that is responsible for a normal development of a cell cycle maturation, and maintaining the regular function and activities of a cells. This is some benefits of a apoptosis. We can take some example like a loss of a tail of a tadpole when it develops into a frog. So this is one example of a apoptosis. So in today's tutorial part, we will discuss in much more detail about a apoptosis pathway. So we can see here there are two pathways basically in apoptosis. We have an extrinsic pathway and next we have a intrinsic pathway. So extrinsic pathway means the signal is coming from the outside of the cell, where intrinsic pathway means signal is coming from inside of the cells. So these are the two major pathways where apoptosis can take place, either via intrinsic pathway, either via intrinsic pathway. So we will discuss in much more detail about a intrinsic pathway in today's video. So intrinsic pathway is also known as a mitochondrial pathway. So let me put a laser. So intrinsic pathway is also known as a mitochondrial pathway. Why it is called a mitochondrial pathway? Because intrinsic pathway, they target a mitochondria to complete this process. Okay, so that's why the intrinsic pathway is also known as a mitochondrial pathway. This intrinsic pathway triggers apoptosis in response to the internal stimuli such as a biochemical stress, DNA damage, or a lack of some kind of growth factors or hormones. And basically this pathway is modulated by two groups of molecules, that is a PAX protein and a BCL2 proteins. Okay, and these groups of molecules determine whether a cell will survive or undergo apoptosis in response to the stimuli. So let's take example. This is one kind of a cell. So definitely if it is a cell means there should be a mitochondria, and also we have told that intrinsic pathway mainly targets the mitochondria. So this is a mitochondria you can see in figure on my screen. So let's assume there is a DNA damage or some kinds of stress inside the cell. So since it is an intrinsic pathway means from inside the cell there will be generation of a signal. So there are some kind of a signaling proteins like a ATM and CSK. These are a sense protein, or we can say these are a signaling protein. They will get a sense that the DNA has been damaged. So once this ATM and CSK are activated, they will activate P53 proteins. Okay, so when these P53 proteins are activated, they are very dangerous. So this activated P53 protein will activate the BAX proteins, and the most important features of a BAX protein is that they will target the mitochondria. So they will target the mitochondria and they will start to create a pores inside the mitochondria. They will start to make a holes. Okay, they will start to make a holes inside the mitochondria. So once there is a formation of a hole or formation of a pores inside the mitochondria, all the cytochrome C that is inside the mitochondria, they will leak out. They will come out to the cytosol. So all cytochrome C will come out to the cytosol by this pores that is created by a BAX protein. So once this cytochrome C will come out in cytosol, they will pair with another protein known as a Apoptosis protein. So Apoptosis protein and cytochrome C, they will pair together and they will activate another protein known as a procaspase 9. So once this procaspase 9 are formed, they will convert into a active procaspase 9. Okay, So active procaspase 9, they will activate another proteins known as a procaspase 3. Procaspase 3. So once these procaspase 3 are activated, they will activate or they will convert into a active caspase 3. So this active caspase 3 will play a major role in intrinsic pathway. So once this active caspase 3 are formed, they will activate a two enzyme. One is nuclease and next is protease. So let's talk about a basic concept about a nuclease enzyme, how it get activated. So let's assume this is a nuclease enzymes, and always these nuclease enzymes are bind with some kinds of a inhibitor. So let's take a this is a inhibitors, this green part what you are seeing, let's assume this is a inhibitor. So this nuclease are inhibited by a inhibitors, they will bind with these inhibitors, but once this active caspase 3 are formed or activated, they will target these inhibitors. So these inhibitors are destroyed, are damaged by the active caspase 3. So when this active caspase 3 will damage this nuclease inhibitors, this nuclease enzyme remain free, and once they become free, they will be activated, and once they are activated, they will cause the nucleic acid breakdowns. So when this nucleic acid breakdown means what happened, all the cells, all the microtubules DNA that will be engulfed by the macrophage, and some kinds of a phagocytic cell will come and they will eat that cell and cause the cell death. So in other hand, this protease enzyme will also help in a cell death. How? Because of a protease enzyme, it will cause the protein breakdown. So when there is protein breakdown inside the cell, that will cause the cell death of a organelles. So in this way, intrinsic pathway get complete. So once again, I would like to do a revision. So when there is a DNA damage, there will be secretion of signaling proteins like ATM CSK. So when ATM CSK are secreted or activated, they will activate P53 proteins. So once this P53 proteins are activated, they will activate Bax protein, and this Bax protein will target mitochondria. They will create holes inside the mitochondria, and from these holes, all the cytochrome C will come to the cytosol, and they will pair with the EPAF1 protein. And once this cytochrome C and EPAF1 protein pairs together, they will activate procaspase 9, and this procaspase 9 will convert into active caspase 9, and this active caspase 9 will convert or liberate or activate procaspase 3, and this procaspase 3 will get activated into active caspase 3. And once this active caspase 3 are formed, they will activate two kinds of enzymes. One is nuclease, next is protease, and they will release a nuclease enzyme, or they will activate a nuclease enzyme by inhibiting the nuclease inhibitors. They will target these inhibitors, they will destroy these inhibitors, and they will make a nuclease free to activate. Once these nucleases are activated, they will cause the nucleic acid breakdown, and protease will also cause a protein breakdown, and finally this will cause a cell death. So in this way, intrinsic pathway or mitochondrial path will get complete. So in next video, we'll talk about extrinsic pathway in more details. So guys, if you like this video, kindly like, comment and subscribe my channel. Thank you. We'll see in next video.